Hi, I'm Julie James, and welcome to Fanfare, an insider's look into the world of Broadway, one show at a time. Today we'll be talking about Jerome Robbins Broadway, a retrospective of the legendary director and choreographer's work. Jerome Robbins Broadway was a culmination of his decade-spanning career, from West Side Story to Fiddler on the Roof, with Gypsy and Peter Pan in between. It opened in 1989 to rave reviews and went on to win 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. Joining me in the main dining room of the famed Sardi's to discuss the show are Grover Dale, the co-director and choreographer, Tony Award-winning actresses Faith Prince and Debbie Gravitte, Broadway veteran Marianne Lamb, and renowned dancer Robert LaFosse. I never dreamed I would be at Sardi's sitting with this table of incredible people. The 16-year-old inside of me is dying right now. Just absolutely dying.
16-year-old me is also dying.
Yeah.
Did you see the show?
I didn't. I wasn't in New York then. And just
She wasn't
dreaming.
born. I was
She was
going to
only
say.
13 years old.
Oh, you're too kind. Way too kind. I would really love to hear any of your audition remembrances, because have heard tale over the years that there were some crazy things that Mr. Robbins would make people do. Do you have any memory of having to do something?
Incredible memory.
Sassy?
Clearly, I'm the only one who remembers the opening of the show. Just saying.
Anyway, so I auditioned in LA I think for Jerry Mitchell.
No, you auditioned.
Jerry Mitchell? Yeah. And for you?
For me.
Oh, okay. And I had to learn, I think, like 3 songs and maybe like a scene. And then they said, okay, now we're going to fly you to New York to audition for Jerry. And then I had to learn like another 2 songs. So now I'm like 5 songs, and you were sort of like, is this good what I'm doing? Am I on the right track? And then all of a sudden it's like you're doing the show and you're like, what am I doing in the show? It's not like, you audition for Guys and Dolls and you got Sky Masterson. You're like, you're gonna be
in
a
the
woman.
show. Yeah.
You're gonna be in the show.
Yeah. We were not cast. We were watching the Charleston. He was putting it together and we were watching it. And then he pointed Joe and said, you get up there. And so she got up and she started dancing. And then about a half an hour, I'm like looking, and he looks at me and he goes, you get up there. And that's how we cast. And I'm like, next thing you know, you are in the number.
Yeah.
There was
you
no
were never,
marking for Jerry Robbins.
There should be no marking
never,
anytime.
Never, ever.
You have to know, he never had a memory. He never could restage anything he ever choreographed. He would come back the following week and go, what did we do? And he would say, no, we didn't do, and then we'd...
Is that why the cameras were always going?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Because that's why staging stuff was so complicated for him, because he didn't actually have a memory. He had a very bad memory. I think the fear, though, was that I'm going to have all these producers telling me what to do, and you don't have that in the ballet. Nobody tells you what to do. You do what you make your own mistakes. Because when your first dance that you ever made, Fancy Free, is the biggest hit, 32 curtain calls for that. Everything had to live up to that night.
Right.
Like it had to be, and he was so afraid.
No, the older he got, perfection was really an issue for him.
Right.
And I mean this respectfully, it was torture to him. But it was like, as a character actress, I was thinking, there's no way Ethel Merman, Judy Holliday, all the leading ladies that he worked with didn't push up against him and really carve out their thing. So I was constantly testing that.
He loved that about him.
Yes,
And
but I got to tell you, it was so scary,
liked it.
scary. And the one time I really stood my ground and had it with him snapping his fingers, which takes you out of the scene, I went, whoa, it needs a pause, sir.
He's called. that's called passion, and that's what he had.
When we did Monotony, which was all sort of not really defined because it wasn't like doing West Side Story. It was sort of created. And we were lighting it, and I remember going up to Jerry and saying, I sort of got upset about the lighting or something, and I said, you know, I just want this to be right. And he said, well, now you know how I feel. And I just went, wow. You know,
concentration was the word of the hour, and for a lot of reasons. And I observed that if you broke his concentration while he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do, and it could be, he could stare at something for a long time, and I'm telling you, if you just literally went, what time is it? Boom! You could be the scapegoat. Right. And I was like, there was no way I was going to be the scapegoat. And if you could just hang with that concentration and just hang with him, then you were good to go. Yeah. But then he could throw you up into something that you had never done before. So you had to be on your guard all the time. So it was focused, and it was full on focus.
His detail, his eye, you know this, his eye was amazing. We came out in the flappers in the most drop-dead gorgeous costumes I've ever had in my life. They were all hand-painted. And the three of us came out, and he screamed, "Get them off! I hate that costume! Take those costumes off! Those are not the number!" And he started just screaming. And we had the most gorgeous hand-painted costumes on we've ever had. And we slowly went back, and we had to take them off, and we had to rehearse until they made these very plain costumes in rehearsal clothes. He would not even see those costumes because we were from the Bronx. These girls are from the Bronx. They would never wear those costumes.
Wow.
That night, that first performance, we looked at each other and we went, that's the way to do the show. We went from there, we went back to the hotel. We were up until 3 o'clock in the morning redoing the whole show with no costumes, no sets, and just doing it with rehearsal clothes and inventive transitions so that numbers would come out in progress, a number would come out and they would blend and another number would come forward.
wow.
And this is the way it was.
What is that? A curtain?
That's a curtain.
Yeah.
Then we did transitions like this. Well, all we needed were doors.
Right, for everything.
For everything.
I think you would have been really busy, Marianne.
And, but, right.
I just have that feeling.
Carrying
don't you?
those doors.
Yeah.
But the truth that we both knew was that the show would run more than twice as long because there would have been no need for hairdressers. There would have been no need for all the makeup people. And so I brought these drawings back to him and he said, "Grover, I can't do it." He said the contracts had already been signed for, and he admitted to me that he had agreed with his original writers that the numbers would be exactly as they were presented.
Right.